What is Syria? You see, it's not that clear. Arabs are Arabs. They come from Arabia. The Syrians their name comes from Assyria, right? It was a kingdom that doesn't exist anymore in Mesopotamia. And their base was actually more into Iraq. And there are Assyrians left. I mean, they did go through a genocide, right, by the Turks. But there are a minority in Syria. So Syria just happens to be a random territory that was given and split randomly, not considering the minorities that live within it who don't exactly get along, like the Alawites, the Druze, the Kurds, and the Christians, of course. I think the thing is that the Christians, like their haven was supposed to be Lebanon. Lebanon was supposed to be the Christian country of the Middle East, a place that Christians could go to if they needed to. Fell apart. So what is Syria? Syria is just another country that was taken by Islam and Arabs. And there are minorities there that don't want to be part of it. For example, a famous minority are the Alawites. That, yes, they were abused by the majority. But now they're going to go back to being abused. Maybe they're going to have some sort of autonomy that doesn't appear in the map that I put in the thumbnail. So we have the Kurds and the Druze, and I kind of want to focus on that. And there are also Christians. Kind of a neglectable minority by now, to be honest. So I just wanted to bring that up to show you some images of them being treated nicely. Yeah, not really. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. Christians are forced to pretend they're Muslims now. And it's really hard, you know. Even though Al-Julani tries to pretend that he's more progressive so that he would not get eliminated and that he would have time to take an area over and that the West would leave him alone and be like, yeah, you can handle this area until, of course, he has the means to do otherwise. But at least he has to go through Turkey, because Erdogan also made a beautiful speech saying, hey, what is Syria? Syria is supposed to be part of Turkey, just like Kurdistan is part of Turkey, right? The Kurdish people, by the way, are a subgroup of the Iranian people, and they themselves have two languages that are almost unintelligible between them. So the Kurds are closer to Iran, right? They're not Turkic. But Turkey was not, but it is like, you know, those places are very intertwined, like the Turks and the Kurds. So when Turkey was established in the 1920s, right, the Druze had some autonomy for a couple of years, and also the Kurds had some autonomy for a couple of years, but that went away pretty quickly in the 1920s for both of them. And the Kurds are a completely different ethnicity, not Turkish, not Arab, and they have different religions in them, when Sunni Muslim is the most popular and communism is the famously known PKK groups that are also assigned as terrorist groups. They're also communistic. If I'm not mistaken, PKK is communistic and YPG is communistic. Let me check once. Yeah, PKK is communistic and YPG, are they communist as well? Which is a different religion called communism. It's also stupid. YPG also, yes, YPG is also kind of communistic anyway. But you can be Kurdish and Yazidi, Kurdish and Christian, and the Druze are technically Arabs, right? The qualification to be Arab is to speak Arabic. Genetically, they are surprisingly close to Ashkenazi Jews. Yeah, so the closest group to Druze are actually Ashkenazi Jews for some reason, but they are Arabs because they speak Arabic. That is the only qualification you need. and they have a different religion. Officially, a branch of Ismailite Shia Islam. Technically, it couldn't be less Islamic because they genuinely believe that the best way to earn your living is by working the ground, being farmers, or creating, being productive, which goes contrary to Islam. In Islam, agriculture goes against their religion. Yeah, for real. So you have a very clear ideological difference, and they're also isolationists, right? So they're isolated group. You cannot become Druze, and you have to have both parents Druze to be Druze yourself, which they have in common with the Jews, right? The Jews and the Druze are ethno-religions, and they just don't want anyone to bug them, and they wouldn't bother you in return. But that doesn't work like that when you are surrounded with Islam. And the Druze were suffering greatly when the rebellion was happening, and they know what Giuliani is going to do to them, right? So, of course, they try to get and the defensive umbrella of Israel, right? But if they even sense a little bit of hesitation from the side of Israel providing that support, they would start saying, no, we hate Israel, so that there would be a chance that they won't be genocided right away. Of course, I don't think it's a good strategy, but, as a minority in the Middle East, you have to do what you have to do to survive. A better bet would be Israel, but, Israel is also doesn't always do what is needed for them to be trusted. For Israel to be trusted in the Middle East, they have to grab land and stay on it, not give it back to anyone. Because once they give it back, those people that were liberated, there is a reason why they try to pretend that, like the Golan Heights people, or that were fearing that they would be returned to Syria. Until recently, they had to pretend to care and to support Assad, and whoever was in charge. And still now, some feel that need, this is trauma. They do it from trauma, right? They know that if they somehow would get returned or anything like that, they would get slaughtered. And why do they think they might get returned? Because Israel has a tendency, and had a tendency, to believe that it shouldn't take land. Well, that makes Israel untrustworthy sometimes, unfortunately. But in an ideal scenario where the Druze are not going to get genocided by the Sunnis in Syria, and the Kurds won't get genocided by the Turks, then, there is a chance that you're going to have Islamic State in the middle, Kurdish state, and Druze state. And ideally, you wouldn't even have the Islamic State in the middle. Yeah, that's the more right thing to do, if you ask me personally. So that is what is Syria. Syria is an entity that should cease to exist because the people that were legitimately Syrian are here no longer. Well, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later.